Okay guys, next part that we're going to do here is add some grids in. Basically a grid's going to help you measure where to draw your lines when you're writing your CSS, and usually we'll get those from Gridulator. It'll just make a nice PNG you can lay over your image here. Now I'm going to show you, I brought one in already for my 3 columns in the bottom so that I know exactly that they're all going to be the same width when I go to program them. So when we were drawing out our guides, you can see that this column here is 924 pixels wide, and I made another one inside my top content because there's a little bit of space in between, and they're 4 columns instead of 3 like the bottom one. So in between each we've got about 20 pixels of space. So this will show you exactly how much margin you need in between each one and how big they should actually be. That'll make everything nice and symmetrical. So basically you just go over to gridulator.com, you put in the numbers, 924 pixels wide and 4 columns, and it'll give you a grid, and quickly I'll just jump over there and show you guys that. So this is gridulator.com, and all you do is put in your numbers, put in the number of columns. If we want to get the 4 column, and just as soon as you tabbed off it, it'll figure it out. And in this case we want 20 pixels in between as a gutter. Just click make PNG, it'll download it. You can import it right into Photoshop and set it as a new layer. It's probably the easiest way to make sure that everything is pixel perfect, and designers, you guys should be doing that too. Coming back to our Photoshop layout, we'll start cutting this up now. If we hide some of these layers, when you guys go to make your website, basically we cut every site up into a series of rows and columns, and start with the rows. So we have a row up top for navigation, we got a row for masthead, we got a row for top content, we got a row for our main content here, and we're going to have another row for our footer. So when you start, that's the basics. And take your bare bones folder that you've got for the project, and we'll jump over there into Dreamweaver and start making a website. So let's start building our lines in the site, guys. So this is your basic bare bones file. We'll start with the navigation line. So div, we'll call it ID equals to nav, and class is line. Inside of every line you need an item. In this case we're going to have a list of navigation items, so you can just do this UL, let's call it ID navigation, class equals to item. Alright, close that, close your div. Alright, now basically you need to make an entry for this line in layout.css, and you need to do a little bit of programming in base.css to specify what the background color is going to be. So let's do that quickly. Okay, once you've got your basic layout.css open, let's quickly change what's going on at the top here. Put your name in there, put your email address, and the website that this file is supposed to be for. Now if you look down here, we've got canvas, it's 960 pixels. That's perfect. That's exactly how most sites that we build these days are set, and that's why it's in there as the default. We also already have an entry for masthead, which is good, but navigation is also the same width, but it has a height too, and you can get that from Photoshop. I'll just jump over there quickly and take a look. If you have it already selected, you can see that the navigation is actually, let's see, 68 pixels high, and it has a 33 pixel margin at the top. So let's set this. Now from the right side it comes in 960 pixels, and this is how you kind of float things from the right side over. So if you have several items, they might not always go that far, and in this site we will see that a little bit, but not much, because almost every single element here goes the full width of the 960. So from your right edge go negative 960 pixels. That's why we have a negative left margin. and it's the full 960, but it's also 68 pixels high, and it has a margin at the top of 33 pixels. Alright, so that's all you need for the navigation in there. Let's jump over to base.css and we'll just put a background color of solid black in. So make sure you always keep this nice and organized. We've already laid out a lot of headings. Keep everything neat, put it under the right place. So here in background images we can say, you know, for the entire nav line that we want to have a background color of black. So background color X for that is just straight zeros. Shorthand, you can just use 3 numbers. Make sure you close that up, leave a little bit of space so it's nice and easy to read. And that's it. We'll save that and we're done with the first line. If you come back over here to Photoshop, your masthead is always, or almost always, just going to be a solid image. So you can just grab that and we can crop the image. So image crop, and save that. Control Shift Alt S. It'll give you your save for web dialog, and you can save it as a JPEG. You know, 80% is probably enough for this one. And obviously we're going to make some changes to that, but nothing too major. So navigate over to your images folder and you can call this one masthead. Alright. Now you grab your history window from the bar here and undo your crop. Alright, back to Dreamweaver. Quickly guys, I want to show you some PHP that I've brought in here. At the very top you can see I've made 2 variables. One's base URL, that's the location of the website where it's sitting in my little test server. So it's a subfolder right now of undergalaxy.com/1StopAutoShop.ca, and as soon as we go into production you can just remove this part and show your base URL to be the actual production URL. Now if you look down in the code you can see that I've put that in a few places already, like for our canonical link you can just echo out that variable into there. You can do it in front of your CSS file here. You can do it in front of your JavaScript file. That way it'll link things up properly when you don't have it in the normal root folder where it's going to sit in production, and your links will all work properly. You can see down here I've made a new line for the masthead. It's basically the same as the navigation, and you saw earlier in layout that it's 960 pixels and we got to put an image in it. So you just echo the base URL in there. Now also I made site name. It's just going to be the title of the site, and every image needs an alt, so I'm just echoing that out here. I also echo that out in a little comment I made in the head and in our title tag. So you can use those variables anytime. In fact, I encourage it, and that's that. It'll make your life easier when you're trying to test things. Now this code and any other code that you guys have, you might already have it in a site that you've already built, so you can just copy and paste it. But in this case we just have another few lines to make, so why don't we just go ahead and put those in there now. The next one is top content. I want you guys to write these in camel case. That means the first word is lowercase and the second word and third word and so on start with a capital letter, like the humps on a camel. Now if you only have one word, just all lowercase. So we've got top content. Let's just copy this and paste it again. We've got main content, and we've got one more line, and that is for the footer. Alright, you can save that. Now you guys are almost there. You almost have a working site now. All you need to do is make some background images for things, and then you're pretty much ready to start putting content into the site. We'll go over that in just a second. Okay guys, we have 3 background images left to make, so let's do that quickly. First is top content. Let's jump in there. Hide your grid. Let's hide these other things. We just want to see the blue layer for now, or sorry, the BG layer. You can just control click it to get the whole thing, and let's crop it. Now it's the same thing all the way across. So what you could do is change your canvas size here to be 1 pixel wide. There's no sense in making a big image when you can use a small image and stretch it. Alright, Control Shift Alt S, save for web. So we'll call this one BG Top Content. Keep your names the same so it's easy to remember. Okay? Now, we'll go over to base CSS and put these in a few, but let's make the other background images while we're at it. So the next one is for main content. We've got this grid that's coming down. Let's crop it here. Now we've got a few things we should hide, so let's put away the grid, put away the clip, put away your column BG. And again, this one, canvas size, let's go 1 pixel, we'll just stretch it over. Alright, save for web, call it BG main content. Alright, now we should also do for our columns. Now this one's a little bit different because we made rounded edges, so you can select it all, control clicking your little icon there. Oops, and let's crop it, but let's hide the stuff that's in the background. Alright, so what we want is basically a little bit of transparency on the edge, so no matter how far down it sits, it's still going to look okay and not funny with the edges. So we'll save this one as a PNG. So just change it up in here, PNG 24. It'll be a little bit of a bigger image, and it'll tell you how big here. 194. BG, we'll call it BG columns. Easy to remember. Now the footer doesn't need a BG because it's just pure black. So let's get out of here, back to normal size. And let's jump over and make these entries in our base.css.